As I've been playing through Expedition 33, the thought that this represents the future of what gaming could be is continually present throughout. It is very clear that through the development of this game, passion was the key ingredient in making this incredible game. There's also some interesting aspects because this video is asking the question, is this game worth it? We're going to talk about that, namely because you have the Game Pass question, but more than anything else than that, you also have the ongoing debate about the price of video games, with Nintendo feeling like they can charge $80 or $90, but then Expedition 33 showing up as a completely different kind of game and a new IP, obviously, at $50. Same thing with the Oblivion remake. That is also at $50. So there is, I think, an inflection point, kind of a test, if you will, about what gamers really want, what they're willing to pay for, and the ability to produce a game at this size with just a team of 30. We've seen ballooning budgets, ballooning teams. And I think that's led to a lot of false expectations and a lot of downturn within the industry. And so today, let's dive in. Now, before we do want to say the artwork that is used for this thumbnail comes from Karoli Tulip, and I'm hopefully not butchering their name. You can go check out their X profile. You can go see all the different beautiful artwork that they produce. The link will be in the description. Highly recommend you go check them out. Also, as a part of this, I want to kind of highlight some tweet from Sebi Webbs, who writes, "For 20 years straight, Final Fantasy fans have been gaslit that no one wants turn-based combat, that it will never sell. That's where they're wrong for even wanting it. Expedition 33 destroyed that lie in a single day." I'd also add Metaphor to the list and Persona to the list. And I know turn-based RPGs aren't for everybody, but Sebi Webby is right when it's all said and done. And I think there is a demand for it. And I think Expedition 33, in terms of its combat alone, highlights that a turn-based RPG can still feel impactful with both dodging, parrying, and various different kind of QTEs that are happening throughout the skills to add in additional bonuses. I don't know if anybody out there had the privilege of playing Lost Odyssey when Microsoft released this on the 360. You can go play it today. Highly recommend that game as well. That is from Mistwalker, and that was from the 360 era. And this, in a way, while it's not the same game, it's that passion, that spiritual successor. It's not what you would call a JRPG, I guess maybe an FRPG because it was developed in France. I don't know what you've put on it, but it is such an incredible game. This is where things get really interesting, because if a turn-based RPG isn't your thing and yet you clicked on this video, if you have Game Pass, I think you owe it to yourself to try it out. Because at the core of it, one of the things and its strengths that it brings right to the game itself is how the characters immediately grab you, how they immediately feel three-dimensional, how there's a history that I'm interested in unpacking, and that history gets doled out not through needless exposition for the sake of exposition, but through character interaction and through gameplay and through the discovery of the world and the struggles that these characters have gone into it and the history that has come before them. And just the phrase, "we continue." When one of us falls, we continue. That is so powerful. The fact is that when I first heard it, my hairs stood up on their end, and saying it to you guys now is giving me that same reaction to it. The characters feel alive. This feels like a living, breathing world, and even though we've only seen a small sliver of it, it truly is incredible what they were able to capture visually, audibly, directing and acting wise. They have really knocked it out of the park. And the voice actors, I think, really bring a lot of gravitas to the game. Generally speaking, as somebody who does really enjoy the JRPG, there are some various different JRPG tropes. Haven't personally run into those, like where you have kind of that high-pitched character. Nothing like that here. All the acting, everything just feels really, really strong when it's all said and done. But I think the highlight for me is the combat. I love running around and getting into fights, and the ability, like we've seen with the evolution of the kind of RPG in and of itself, where you can kind of attack before the enemy kind of touches you allows you to get that advantage and allows you to try and get as much additional XP as possible. This is something that is very thrilling, and then yet at the same time, the game doesn't hold back. It can be brutally punishing. It will push you very hard in thinking how you've got your build set up, what skills you want to equip, what gear, how you're leveling. Do you want to go do a little additional grinding and see if that helps you out with this boss? And the fact is there are super bosses already on the field, so you could stumble into one and it will tell you, hey, this is pretty dangerous. But your skill could actually help you turn the tide against that super boss, even if you're underleveled. And I like that. I don't like when games feel like they have to hold your hands. That's, I think, something special. One of the biggest things, though, like I said at the beginning, especially with the game prices going up for some games, especially like that's kind of the debate that's happening online. There's a lot of frustration, and regardless of where you fall on it, I think when it's all said and done, this is a really great marketing question. What should the price of games be? How big should these teams be? And Expedition 33, I think it says, hey, we really want this game to exist. This is something we've always dreamed about, and we're going to make it happen. And we're not going to have 300 plus people working on this game, because I think that highlights one of the core issues. While I get that these AAA big budget titles do have a level of expectation, I think the price that they're coming in at with $50 sets an expectation a little bit lower, and then all of a sudden you step into the game and you're like, wait a minute, this feels like a game I would be willing to spend more money on. And again, that's if you don't have Game Pass. If you do have Game Pass, well, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you downloaded this, and why haven't you checked it out? I'd be very, very curious. The story and the narrative that the game brings, and I'm not going to spoil anything here. They've already set up that you're going on this expedition numbered 33, because that is what the paintress has painted in the sky, and discovering previous expeditions through their flags and through their notes is both haunting, but also something that I actually am seeking out. Also, like from a gameplay perspective, outside of combat, exploration feels rewarding. I felt like there's been a while that we've been in this kind of hallway simulator, and I was worried that Expedition 33 was going to have that same kind of effect, because at the start of the game, it kind of felt like, yeah, of course, they're driving a narrative. They're pushing you into an area so that the story can continue. And then when the open world shows up, and then all of a sudden you have a little bit more freedom, but then even in the zones that you go into, going off into the off-beaten path is rewarding with various different gear, items, and so much more, to the point where I'm like, this is exactly what we want. Sebi Webby is right. Like, as much as I love Final Fantasy and will continue to love Final Fantasy, I do hope that Final Fantasy 17, if it doesn't end up being another MMO, if Final Fantasy 17 is a single player RPG, I would love to see them bring back a turn-based version of Final Fantasy, just to kind of put that question to bed. We've seen Square Enix move in one direction, but then we've seen other games like, you know, Sega Sammy with the Persona series, and with Metaphor. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. And then here with Expedition 33 saying, no, people love these games. There's a lot of interesting strategy and combat that you get when you have that turn-based combat system. It isn't archaic because of design limitations. Action RPGs are fun, but they also bring in a little bit of that action into the turn-based combat. All of this works really well. And that's when you get into the sound direction. The game both visually feels like you're walking through a painting, and that in and of itself ties into the overall theme. We're trying to go and stop the paintress. Got it. That checks out. But the sound, both atmospheric, the atmosphere, there we go, of the sound that really just brings you into the world 100%. And then the music and the singing, like everything, it all comes together in a very beautiful package. I've run into a handful of little bugs that aren't game breaking and aren't annoying. It's just like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm playing a video game. And those little bugs take me out of the game experience for just a half second, and then the sound brings me right back in. This is a game that I think everybody should at least try. That's all I'm trying to get at with this video. I want you to really try this game and see if it's something that resonates with you. I think you're going to be surprised, especially if you don't like turn-based RPGs. I think this might be the game that surprises you. And if nothing else, I hope that this game is a wake-up call. It seems one of the best things I've seen online, especially because, you know, online could be very hit or miss. We'll say that. One of the best things I've seen is so many game developers, especially that I follow and respect, really praising this game. And that, I think, is something where when one of these times comes around, it's something that we're going to remember in 5 and 10 and 15 years. Hey, did you check? Man, remember when Expedition 33 launched? If nothing else, beyond this game, I can't wait to see what the studio does next. I hope that they take their time, build their passion, and make it something that follows this up, because I want more, and I'm gonna keep experiencing with it. And that's just what I wanted to give you guys, my first impressions, the things that I take away as somebody who loves these style of games. This is perfect for me. I knew that I was going to play this before I was going to play the Oblivion remake. I have stepped into the Oblivion remake because I had a couple days before Expedition 33 dropped, but ultimately I'm going to see if I can't get this thing in the finished column. I think this game has definitely earned that time, and I hope you guys give it a shot. And if you are playing it, or if you have played it, I really hope that you enjoyed it as much as I'm enjoying my experience with it. Now, all that being said, thank you guys so much for your time. If you guys enjoy these videos, that like button and subscribe button is a great way of helping the content out. More than that, we are on our way, slowly but surely, to 100,000 subscribers, of which I will give out a Switch 2 or a PS5. Ultimately, we'll be giving out a big giveaway. The only thing you have to do is be subscribed and leave a comment. The more comments that you leave, especially on videos, I do a lot of hearts, and it does give a badge, so that's going to help, I guess, overall when it's all said and done. So anyway, yeah, it's up to you. No pressure one way or the other. I will be bribing for that silver play button for sure. I thank you guys all so much for the support. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Until then, take care.